Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on Mitv. I am Tomi Ojo. Let's begin with the top stories tonight. Turn over a new leaf for lose it all. NDLEA wants drug barons. And the NLC decries the pending removal of fuel subsidy. The remains of late Olubado is committed to Mother Earth. In foreign news, fire at South African Parliament in Cape Town. And in sports, Onyekuru Umar, 8 others in Eagles camp ahead of the 2021 AFCON Cup. And now the news in detail. Chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, retired Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, has asked all those still involved in the illicit drug business to turn over a new leaf or risk losing their freedom and assets in the new year. The anti-drug Caesar, in his New Year message, said the NDLEA and its workforce are moving into 2022 with a resolution to rid the country of illicit substances and continue the aggressive pursuit of drug cartels, barons, and traffickers anywhere they may be within the country or outside. He said given the agency's pedigree in 2021, there should be no doubt whatsoever about the capability to carry out the stated objectives. In the past year, the NDLEA scaled up its capability and reinvigorated its anti-narcotic activities. The agency's efforts yielded arrests and interdictions, and that should be a clear signal to anyone in the drug trade that the rules of the game have changed. The Director of Media and Advocacy, NDLEA Headquarters Abuja, Femi Babafemi, stated that the NDLEA boss said in 2022 the goals remain the same: to dismantle drug cartels and syndicates, and that would include arresting and having drug offenders jailed by the court, ultimately to rid the society of all traces of an illicit substance. While emphasizing Nigeria's determination to win the drug war, General Buba Marwa said with the full support of President Muhammadu Buhari, the National Assembly, the judiciary and the citizenry, NDLEA will leave no stone unturned to fulfill its mandate. And the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has insisted its opposition to the pending removal of fuel subsidy is rooted in ideological dispositions, with emphasis on what it termed deceit and duplicity associated with the politics of petrol price increase by successive Nigerian governments. The Labour Union, in its New Year message to Nigerian workers, also decried missed opportunities and hemorrhaging of potential revenue occasioned by the government's dismal handling of the current negative narrative in the downstream petroleum subsector. In the statement signed by its president, NLC Ayuba Waba specifically faulted the renege of the agreement with the government in September 2020 that any further increase in pump price should be shelved until both the government and Labour undertake a review of the state and local refineries, among others. According to the Labour Union, the perennial increase in pump price is a transfer of government failure and inability to effectively govern the country, and queried why the government cannot rein in smuggling and empirically determine the quantity of petrol consumed in the country. What angered the union the most was the failure of the Buhari-led government to successfully refurbish any of the ailing 4 refineries nearly 7 years after assuming office, while also revealing that a technical committee set up by the government was designed to fail ab initio. President Muhammadu Buhari has extended his heartfelt condolences to the government and people of Oyo State, the royal family, and the Olubado Council, and the people of Ibadan on the passing of the Olubado of Ibadan, Oba Saliu Adetunji. The president, in the statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, affirmed that the late Kabesi was a visionary and compassionate leader who used the spheres of influence as a respected traditional ruler and a lover of the creative industry to advance the progress of his people, encouraging and motivating them to give their best in their vocation and to the nation. According to the statement, while his demise understandably leaves a huge void to fill, the president urged the people of Ibadan and Nigerians from all walks of life to honor the eternal memory of the deceased by imbibing the virtues he cherished so much: generosity, peace, tolerance, and devotion to unity. As the funeral rites of the 41st Olubadan of Ibadan land get underway in Ibadan, the president trusts that the process of selecting his successor will be guided by wisdom, understanding, and good judgment that exemplified the life he lived. Meanwhile, the governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has expressed shock at the passing of the Olubadan of Ibadan land of Saliu Akanmu Adetunji Aje Ogungoni Niso I, describing him as an exemplary in royalty. Makinde stated that the demise of the royal icon, who he described as a great leader of his people and an exemplary royal father, was painful despite his old age, adding that the wisdom and the wealth of experience would be sorely missed. The governor expressed his condolence to the immediate family of the Olubadan in Council, and all Ibadan indigenes, as well as the Oyo State Traditional Council. In the statement signed by his chief press secretary, Taiwo Adisa, the late monarch, he said, gave his all to see Ibadan developed and took its pride of place as one of the major cities in Africa. He therefore commiserated with everyone concerned in the matter, including the Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes, the CCII, and all Ibadan indigenes home and abroad on the demise of the royal father. The governor extended his condolences as well to the Oyo State Traditional Council, praying that the God keep all the Abas safe and give them more years to direct the affairs of his people, especially as the death of the Olubadan came on the heels of the demise of Shon of Ogbomoso and the Ashigongo of Igongo. May God continue to grant them all eternal rest. Amen. And to conclude the matter of the Olubadan's death, his remains have been laid to the murder hearth. Oba Saliu Adetunji was committed to murder hearth today, according to Islamic rites, at the Bokoye Moja Palace, Ibadan, amid tears and weeping. The corpse was returned to the palace at about 4:35 p.m. from Makbo Hall, where a line in state and prayer held. The remains were received by the chief imam of Ibadan land, Sheikh Abdulgani Agbotomo Kekere. He was accompanied by top Islamic leaders. Also present were top government functionaries led by the Deputy Governor, Rauf Olaniyo. Thousands of indigenes and residents of Ibadan witnessed the burial. The media aides to the late Oba Abdiola Oloko noted that Ibadan witnessed many accounts of achievements during the reign of the late monarch, and Oba Adetunji joined his ancestors in the early hours of Sunday at the University College Hospital, UCH, at the age of 93. Oloko, while speaking on the passing of the monarch, said the king would be sorely missed for being a peace-loving one. He was very humorous, respectful, humble, and very jovial. He died at exactly 1 a.m. today. His death was also confirmed by the Akaro Olubadan High Chief Amidu Ajibade. Late Oba Adetunji ascended the throne as the 41st Olubadan of Ibadan land on the 4th of March 2016. Apparently, the Otun Olubadan of Ibadan land, Senator Lekan Balogun, may be next in line as the Olubadan of Ibadan, following the demise of Oba Saliu Adetunji, according to the laid-down hierarchy of ascension to the Ibadan throne. Reports had it that the hierarchical arrangement in the Ibadan system has a two-line approach: the Balogun system and the Olubadan Otun system. The Olubadans are appointed on rotational basis to occupy the stool on the death of a monarch. The next two Olubadan are most senior on both lines are the Otun Olubadan and Balogun. Oba Saliu Adetunji was crowned the 31st Olubadan of Ibadan following his coronation on the 4th of March 2016. Prior to that, it was the Balogun of Ibadan land, which indicates now that the Otun Olubadan, Senator Lekan Balogun, may be next in line according to the rotational system. Coming up next on the news, Sudanese security forces have deployed themselves in large numbers to the capital, Khartoum, amid calls for cessation of military rule. We'll bring you details after this break.
It's that time of year for the Ad Movies Cheer.
Here we go. Get your noisemakers ready. Let's do it.
For one great price, you get a mammoth month of DSTV premium movies. And as always, we've got a little something for everyone.
Yes.
Like you. Oh, for you too.
Hey! Oh, come on, man. You could get that buffed out.
A little of this, a little bit of your move, and definitely a whole bunch of this. So add more festive to your festive season.
Come home, honey. I'll come home for Christmas.
For the whole month. With Ad Movies on the My DSTV app or the DSTV website. It's your festive movie moment with DSTV.
Welcome back. In foreign news, Sudanese security forces deployed in large numbers on Sunday set up roadblocks in the capital, Khartoum, amid calls for pro-democracy rallies in memory of the martyrs killed in recent protests. Communications, including internet and phone lines, have been severely restricted, while armed officers blocked key bridges across the Nile River connecting Khartoum to its suburbs. Web monitoring group Neblock said mobile internet services were cut from mid-morning ahead of the planned protest, the first of the year. Activists use the internet for organizing demonstrations and broadcasting live footage on the rallies. Sudan, with a long history of military coups, has undergone a fragile journey towards civilian rule since 2019, ouster of autocrat Omar al-Bashir following mass popular protest. But the country has been plunged into turmoil since military leader General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, de facto leader since the ouster of Bashir, launched a coup on the 25th of October and detained Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok. Hamdok was reinstated on the 21st of November, but mass protests have continued as demonstrators distrust the veteran General Burhan and his promises of seeking to guide the country towards full democracy.
Our position is clear. We are opposed to any negotiations, partnerships or compromise. We came out today to bring down this ruling military council and to have a civilian democratic government afterwards. We came out to bring down the military leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the pro-Islamist regime.
A major fire broke out in the South African Parliament building in Cape Town on Sunday. Firefighters were present at the building as large flames and a huge column of smoke were seen at around 5:30 GMT. A spokesman for the city's emergency services requested reinforcements at the scene, said the roof has caught fire and the National Assembly building is also on fire. Images showed a mass of flames licking through what appeared to be the roof of one of the Parliament's buildings. There was no indication of what may have started the fire. The houses of the Assembly of Parliament in Cape Town consist of 3 sections, including the original oldest building that was completed in 1884. The newer additions, constructed in the 1920s and 1980s, house the National Assembly. In April last year, a fire ravaged part of the University of Cape Town's library, housing a unique collection of African archives. Another African story: President Joe Biden's administration has announced it had excluded Ethiopia, Mali and Guinea from a U.S.-Africa trade agreement, saying the actions of the 3 governments violated its principles. U.S. Trade Representative USTR said in a statement the United States terminated Ethiopia's, Mali and Guinea from AGOA trade preference program due to actions taken by each of their governments in violation of the statute. The AGOA, Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, was put in place in 2000 under the administration of former President Bill Clinton to facilitate and regulate trade between the United States and Africa. But The United States is deeply concerned by the unconstitutional change in government in both Guinea and Mali. The government it also voiced concern about gross violations of internationally recognized human rights being perpetrated by the government of Ethiopia and other parties amid the widening conflict in northern Ethiopia.
U.S. tariff-free, duty-free, was about $2.7 billion. So nothing to sneeze at, but not a giant figure all the same. But it has been an act that has been updated and has to be revised every year. That is, the U.S. keeps close tabs on how well these countries are abiding by the terms of the pact.
And moving down to France, the French authorities took down a temporary installation of the European Union flag from the Arc de Triomphe monument in Paris on Sunday after right-wing opponents of President Emmanuel Macron accused him of erasing French. The giant blue flag was raised in place of the French flag on New Year's Eve to mark France's turn at the rotating presidency on the EU Council, which it will hold for the next 6 months. The Arc, a monument to war dead and other landmarks including the Eiffel Tower and the Pantheon, are also being illuminated with blue lights for the remainder of the week. Macron's right-wing rivals for the presidential election 4 months away seized on the removal of the tricolor flag, calling it affront to France's heritage and its veterans. It said, and I quote, "Preside over Europe. Yes, erase French identity. No," tweeted Valérie Pécresse, the conservative candidate who polls indicate could be the main challenger to Macron in the upcoming vote. She urged him to restore the French flag, saying they owe it to the soldiers who spilled their blood for it. Far-right candidate Marine Le Pen, who had vowed to file a complaint with the State Council, France's highest court for administrative matters, also denounced the move, while Eric Zemmour, a far-right media pundit who is also running against Macron, called it an insult. Le Pen on Sunday called the overnight removal of the EU flag a great patriotic victory, claiming on Twitter that a massive mobilization had forced Macron to backpedal. And 22 people were injured when a shallow earthquake hit southwestern China on Sunday afternoon and shook the popular tourist city of Liliang, local authorities said. The quake struck near the border between Yunnan and Sichuan province, according to the U.S. Geological Survey USGS, which puts the magnitude at 5.4 and depth at 38 kilometers. Seismological Bureau of Yunnan said 22 people had been injured in the quake, 2 severely in Ningguang County. The Provincial Seismological Administration said there were no reports yet of damage to houses, but state news agency Xinhua said a 60-strong search and rescue team had been dispatched to the epicenter. China Earthquake Network Center later measured the magnitude at 5.5 with a depth of 10 kilometers. The epicenter was 115 kilometers away from Liliang in Yunnan province. China is regularly hit by earthquakes, especially in its mountainous western and southwestern regions. Players are gathering at the Super Eagles camp for the AFCON Cup. We'll bring you details of who and who has got it after this break.
Do you know how I can win back an old friend?
You can give her the ultimate adventure. Or maybe some intense drama. What about making her turn up big time?
She has that already. I just want to give her more.
It's the full package. The premium gift. The best of everything. Hey guy, you know I got you.
It's the love you can always understand. Enjoy great entertainment and more this festive season. Choose joy. DSTV, it's your moment.
Welcome back. In sports stories, the number of players in the Super Eagles camp has risen to 10 as the coach Augustine Eguavoen-led squad intensifies preparation for the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON holding between the 9th of January and the 6th of February in Cameroon. The 10 players that have now registered their presence in the Eagles camp include Francis Ozuho, AC Omonia Cyprus, Henry Onyekuru, Olympiacos Greece, Peter Olayinka, Slavia Praha, Czech Republic, Chidozie Awazim, Alanyaspor, Turkey, Chidera Ejuke, CSKA Moscow, Russia, Daniel Akweyi, Kaizer Chiefs, South Africa, Sadiq Umar, UD Almeria, Spain, Olisa Nda, Orlando Pirates, South Africa, John Noble, Enyimba FC, and Taiwo Awoniyi Union, Berlin, Germany. The three-time African champions will open the glory chase at AFCON when they meet seven-time winners Egypt on the 11th of January in Group D that also includes Sudan and debutant Guinea-Bissau. The NFF had in a release disclosed that coach Joseph Pesero would now be the new Super Eagles head coach after the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON. This statement said resulted from a careful consideration of a memo presented by chairman of the Technical and Development Subcommittee, which led to the Executive Committee to act. And Romelu Lukaku has reportedly been dropped from Chelsea's squad for Sunday's crucial Premier League clash with Liverpool. Lukaku incurred the wrath of Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel after the Belgian striker said he was unhappy with the way he has been used this season. The unsettled Lukaku in an interview admitted he would like to return to Inter Milan in the near future. He said physically he's fine, but he is not happy with the situation at Chelsea. Lukaku noted that Tuchel has chosen to play with another system, but he won't give up. He will continue to be a professional. Tuchel also admitted on Friday he was quite surprised with Lukaku's comments describing them as noise they do not need at a time like this. Even so, his decision to remove Lukaku for the Liverpool showdown is a major gamble at the vital point in Chelsea's season. And Lionel Messi has tested positive for COVID-19 and has isolated himself. His club, Paris Saint-Germain, announced on Sunday. The seven-time Ballon d'Or winner was one of the 4 PSG players to test positive for the virus ahead of the French Cup match against Vannes. The Argentinian star has endured a difficult start to life in the French capital since an emotional exit from Barcelona last summer. Messi has scored only 1 goal in 11 league appearances for PSG, although he has netted 5 times in the Champions League. He will miss Monday's cup tie and will likely be sidelined for PSG's first League One match since the winter break at Lyon next Sunday. The other players to test positive were fullback John Bannat, backup goalkeeper Sergio Rico, and teenage midfielder Nathan Bitumazala. PSG said they are currently respecting isolation and currently in their respective self-isolating places and are subject to the appropriate health protocol. The number of COVID-19 cases in France has also toppled to 200,000 a day this week. And Paris Saint-Germain coach Mauricio Pochettino said on Sunday there would be no problem with Kylian Mbappe being affected by speculation over his future. The World Cup winners' PSG deal ends in June, with the 23-year-old now free to sign a pre-contract agreement with another club. Mbappe will be able to leave on a free transfer before next season unless PSG can persuade him to sign a new contract at the Parc des Princes. Pochettino said ahead of Monday's French Cup tie against Vannes that in football, a player can be affected by his contractual situation if he is not mature enough, stating that Kylian has the necessary maturity. PSG have for several months been attempting to convince Mbappe to stay, but no agreement has been reached, and Real Madrid are favourites to secure his signature. Pochettino said, like everyone else, the management hopes he will continue at the club for a long time, but it is a decision for both sides. Mbappe has scored 15 goals in 24 appearances in all competitions for PSG. And that brings us to the end of our primetime news tonight. Let's quickly look through our stories and recap. The turnover, or NDLEA, is warning drug barons to turn over a new leaf or lose it all. And the NLC has decried the pending removal of fuel subsidy. The remains of late Olubadan of Ibadan, Oba Adetunji, has been committed to Mother Earth. In foreign news, fire at South African Parliament in Cape Town. And in sports, Onyekuru, Umar and 8 others are in Eagles camp ahead of the 2021 African Cup of Nations. Many thanks for joining us in our primetime news tonight. For more detail, don't forget to visit our website www.mitvonline.ng. You can also follow us across all of our social media handles on Facebook and on Instagram and YouTube at MITV NG, MITV Lagos Nigeria, and MITV Nigeria. I am Tomi Siojo. Have a pleasant night rest. Good night.